Okay, this is an interesting one. See if we can turn this one up. Looking good. Wonder how big it's going to be. We'll look at that later. We're leaving it in the middle. I think we're going to use this original. We're going to image straight off the original. We just have to get the size correct. It should come up a treat off the original rather than off a master copy, if it can be done that way. So I'm wondering, with the hue, we're going to just alter the hue. That'll make it a little bit more interesting than the original. So, right, we're just going to work out how big we're going to make this. But this is, here, Happy Birthday. I bought this. So this looks like some kind of, well, it looks like a superhero, but it's not Marvel or DC Comics. It's a different type of superhero. It's a non-specific one. Still looks like a superhero. Still looks pretty strong and like he could save the world. Let's see if we can make him fit nicely on this page. We're going to have to, I don't know how big we're going to enlarge this one. These Happy Birthday cards are always an odd size. So this one's going to be, I think it's a bit, I'm trying to remember, it's bigger than A6 both ways in different amounts. So we need to make it less than 200%. It's got to be 100 and something % each way. So the horizontal is going to be 100 and, I'm going to make it 130. I've got a feeling that's too small. And this one, the vertical, has got to be even small, larger or smaller. I think we're going to call it 160. This is confusing. I'm trying to work it out. It's not easy getting these sizes correct. So let's see how the superhero looks here. Well, he looks like a superhero. I think he's meant to be some generic looking superhero. He looks quite interesting. Oh, we made it way too small, but he looks nice. He looks really nice, but we're way off the mark. So let's see if we can make it look even better. So let's see, we've got to go bigger. So we've got to go bigger than this. This is way, way, way too small. So we're now going to go 100 and we're going to 180, maybe bigger, 180 or 190. I'm going 180 that way. And this one's going to be 100 and just look at the copy we made. We've got to make this one 100 and we're going to go 170 to make this superhero look good. I don't know if the hue really does it any justice, so I'm just going to see what we're going to do with the hue. Maybe a colder hue might work for this. I'm not sure. So let's see how we've made it work. Finish and then start. Okay. Well, that looks interesting hue-wise. We got the height looks pretty close. The vertical looks shit. So we're getting close. This looks hotter, more red. This looks more magenta. But the green looks too green, and this shows a bit of the blue, which looks really good. We just got to now change the horizontal. The vertical. The vertical is out. The horizontal's a little bit big, but it still looks good. The vertical is the critical part because of the Happy Birthday sign, so we're going to make it considerably larger. So it may have to go up to, it may have to also go up 180. So maybe it's not so bad if we make this one maybe a bit smaller than 180. I'm going to make this one a bit smaller, so maybe 176. We're going 176 for the vertical. So let's see how we go. We're going to just do some alterations with the colours. See if this one turns up a treat. This is a tricky one to work with. Maybe we got to take out some of the contrast. We don't want it overly contrasty. So let's see how this turns out. This is an interesting birthday card. Anyway, it's different. But it's interesting they've used something that looks like a superhero, but it's a generic sort of superhero. It's not got a name to it. So it's a bit like a generic branded superhero, like a generic branded supermarket item. So that, again, is too small. We need a bit more edge to it. I think 180 is probably going to be close fit. I think 180. So we're just going to kick this 176 and we're just going to make it 180. And this will be good because then we don't have the distortion of the aspect ratio, so it stays in a natural, the way it was. So it'd be good if this can come up a treat. Of course, the horizontal is a bit long, but it should be okay. It should lend itself okay. We're going to turn this into a mirror image. So this looks a lot better. So we're pretty close to we're pretty accurate. So it's almost perfect, close enough to perfect. And we're just going to make this into a mirror image. So we're just going to have a happy birthday mirror image out of this. We're going to make this look more interesting. Let's see how this goes. Out it comes. So there's our other superhero, another part of the superhero mirror image. We're going to have to make the other two mirror images into actual mirror images to complement these, to make this into see how this superhero looks after we've done him the mirror image treatment. But yes, it could, it just doesn't have the famous DC Comics or Marvel label on it, or this superhero doesn't have a name. I'm sure. So that's the thing about cheap shop things, is that sometimes they're generic like that. I think if it was Marvel or DC Comics, especially if it's a genuine Marvel or a DC Comics, it'd be worth a lot more. So you'd hope that the child who's receiving this card isn't a Marvel or a DC Comics fan, because he might find this is not a real superhero, not one of the ones that you read about in comics, but this is just a cheap shop version of a hero. But it still looks good. But kids are very picky, and I can understand that. If I wanted a superhero birthday card, I'd be disappointed to receive this one if I was a kid. So, but he does look like a superhero, I must say. It's quite a nice picture. Someone must have spent overnight creating this on their computer and editing it, making it look really nice, even though it's not a genuine superhero as we know superheroes. Now this is an absolute shocker because of the curling, so sorry folks, this really looks bad. But apart from the curling, I think that does look quite interesting. I think now we can call it quits. Oops, I didn't press the button properly. There goes the copier telling us that there's an original on the glass. Ha ha.